This is our student and young adult emerging artist competition, and it is specifically for young adults, emerging artists from the ages from 16 to 30 years old. So we have a specific age cap. The reason for that was we wanted to, obviously entice and provide an outlet for young adults and our community to participate in an event, win these prizes, get their work juried, and also have them hang in a public gallery setting such as the first floor of Ocala City Hall. Other than high school shows and college shows, we looked around and there's shows that are open to all age ranges, and that's fine, but we really wanted to, sometimes it can be hard to get some young people to kind of come out of their shell because they might, some of these artists might have never shown before. And so it's kind of that process and that kind of event to help them get acquainted with it and say, hey, you can have this career in art, you can enter these shows, you can win these shows, but please start showing the public your artwork. We want to encourage them more than anything to come out, and because art's great, but if no one gets to see it, it is broken down into 3 age ranges. 16 to 18 would be our high school category. So in that 16 to 18 year age range, I think we had 9 to 10 entries. Of course, we awarded a first, second, and third place, and the best of show this year also went to someone in the young adult 16 to 18 high school category as well. So that was definitely exciting, great representation from our high school students this year. In the previous shows, some of these artists have gone on to participate in the art walk, and then they start selling their work, getting commissions, and then you can kind of see it reinvigorates them and gets them excited about the real push here behind cultural arts in Ocala, and that there's people out there and they want their work, and so it's kind of the springboard for them to help uplift these young artists and give them this outlet.
21st Century Community Learning Centers offer Marion County Public School students the opportunity for academic enrichment during non-school hours. The program helps students meet state standards in core academic subjects, as well as provide literacy and other educational services to the families of students. The centers allow teachers to engage students in more in-depth, non-traditional classroom activities. Mr. Wells' class utilizes crime scene investigation to capture their interest.
One, I'm teaching them how to work together and collaborate with each other. That's one of the things we do here at Lakewood a lot, because we usually pair and do a lot of grouping. So that's one thing that's helping them. And also, as far as the crime scenes, it's making them think about what their answers are, and trying to get them to do more on their own also. I try to group where I have a higher student with a lower student, helping them out and helping them do things that maybe they not be able to do on their own, but they're still learning from that experience. So, yeah, the witness, very good, yeah. What else? You still got one thing missing there. Bang, bang, bang. On the ground.
I wrote the hammer.
It's not on there. Oh, okay, I didn't see it. Okay, good, good. All right.
Across campus, students worked on presentations centered around Hurricane Irma.
Well, we do project-based learning activities where the students, through their own, it's not a lot of teaching, it's more student-driven work. They do projects, and right now we're working with something called Adobe Spark, which is a web and graphic design program, and I'm trying to give them relevant topics that they're familiar with to work on, and Hurricane Irma seemed like an appropriate thing for them to create a presentation on. We'll be working with Spark, with Photoshop, and with cameras, eventually to create, our goal is a news show to put onto into a video format to put onto YouTube or something like that.
And in Ms. Cormier's class, alternative energy sources were being evaluated.
They were learning that we've been talking about alternative energy powers, and we have games that we played and stuff that we learned that fossil fuels are not as effective as alternative fuels. And so we're working on solar power today, and what they had to do is put it out in the sun so that they could check the temperature as to either the white or the black absorbs more. They're going to have to go over the scientific method, and we went over part of that today and introduced them to it. So they're going to be using that throughout middle school and high school for their science. Also, they're learning how to take directions, how to set up their experiment, and how to take the data and finish it. Because when they get back in here with their data, they're going to come up with the answers as to which one worked better, what would you do to change the experiment to make it better, and so they have to come up with their own ideas as to how they think it might work better.
Paula and I spent
9.5 years together. Actually, if you count Jim Warford's failed superintendency, it's 12 years together.
It's often said the person who actually runs an operation isn't the boss, it's the boss's secretary. And if that's the case, then the person who's run Marion County Public Schools for more than 3 decades has ridden off into the sunset. Last week, people from throughout the district and the decades came together to wish Paula Bundrick a happy retirement after 35 years with the district. In 1989, then Superintendent Skip Archibald hired her as his administrative assistant, and since then, Paula fielded the phone calls for and coordinated the schedules of 6 different superintendents, impacting the lives of well over 100,000 students and employees during that time.
Pretty soon, within days, your smile is going to be as big as mine. You always talked about my smile. Now yours is going to look just like that. Best of luck to you. We really appreciate it, and we love you lots.
RAD is the name of the new, but not so new, magnet program that is relocating, along with its state-of-the-art lab, to a permanent home at Bellevue High School. The program provides students the opportunity to earn college credits, as well as industry certifications while attending high school.
It's taken on about 3 or 4 different connotations. I think that we finally, working with our business partners, came up with a curriculum that kind of meets their needs. That's where we got the robotics, the SolidWorks, which is our design stuff, and then the manufacturing stuff that's involved. And so we came up with the RAD because it's an easier way to say what we do to get people interested in it. When we use the technical term like engineering or production, most people don't really understand how that works, but they understand robotics, they understand what design is, and they kind of sort of make that connection with automation, which is our manufacturing part of it. So that's how we came up with that particular name. It just makes it easier to explain what the program is. And I've been doing it for the last 6-7 years here, but it started when MTI first began. It was called, I think it was CET or IET or something like that, which is making it a drafting program. The easiest thing for this program is to be called the robotics program. It's only about 1/3 of what we do, but because we get into the coding part of it, that's where it really gets into the industry stuff. We have a Fanuc trainer in here, which is an industry training robot. We actually coordinate or collaborate with CF because they're actually a training center with them. So we don't just do the little robots. We use those to teach with and teach them how to code and learn how to run sensors, learn how to program actually to get it to do tasks. But our robotics is really geared for the industry and for our skills competition, which is urban search and rescue, mobile robotics, automated robots, CNC, all those things are kind of related because you have to control machines to do something for you. Next year we are going to be a career choice academy at Bellevue High School, much like last year they did with logistics. So we're actually taking this whole program and we're moving it to Bellevue High School. We've got a much larger facility. We're updating a lot of our curriculum. We'll have new computers. It'll be set up. Again, I talk about how I work with our industry partners, but when we sat down and talked about moving with Mr. Vianello, I actually had Rob Adamak from Mr. Ma, and I actually talked to Sam Aljani at the college on his program, because that's really who I want to feed to, is either one of those two, and we put together some ideas and a plan to what we wanted to do at Bellevue, and that's kind of the reason why we're moving there. NTI has been great for this program, but we need to grow, and I can't grow in the facility that we have here, and I can grow over there. We're actually full next year, which we've not been full since we've been here.
Your vote can make a difference. On August 28th, voters will be asked to renew the referendum to continue school funding for another 4 years. Why vote? This referendum continues quality and effective programs including art, music, PE, library media services, vocational programs, and safer schools. Our students and teachers are succeeding in these programs, and your vote determines the future of this investment. We cannot count on Tallahassee or Washington to invest in our schools.